I was thinking about that in the shower today. You know, like your body is a wonderland.
Uh-huh.
Like, what is my body?
Well, wasteland.
Okay, yeah.
Oh.
Mom!
Are you a lady like me? Introspective, beautiful. Oh, are you intellectual like me? Beguiled by a bargain? You like wild times? Oh, like me? Are you serving the community like me? Well, if you are, then you must be very Delta. Today's guest is pretty and unique. It's Olive Ugly. Hi.
Hi, Delta. Oh my God, I'm so happy to be here.
I'm so happy that you are here. You do so many different things, and there's one thing. It took me, first of all, forever to get it right because I used to say AMSR.
Right.
Right? And I
Right.
think people get it wrong. ASMR.
ASMR, yes.
Can you teach me how to do that? What is that?
So, ASMR is all about sort of just like connecting to the viewer really intimately. It's not rushed. You know, you take your time. A lot of people like the clacking sounds. People like when you get really, when you can't even like really hear what you're saying. A lot of people really like that. So there's like an art to it. That's a little demo, you know. You got to pay the booking fee. See the
It's
rest.
so funny that you do that because I have heard people do it and I go, oh, they're getting really low. And I find myself leaning in
Right.
and I'm like, what? I think I'm catching this. So there is an intimacy, not just in speaking low, but going so low that it's almost like you're leaning your ear into them.
Yeah.
And it's like you're there with them.
Yeah, it's like you're there with them. And for the viewer, it really helps you fall asleep when you have that anchor of like, hold on, I have to be really still and really like relax so I can hear what the person's saying.
That makes
So
sense.
it helps you fall asleep in that way. I feel relaxed.
And the clicking.
Yeah, they love.
Do you use a certain kind of nail when you do it or just?
I buy these in a pack of 3 for $12.
Oh, that's a good
These
deal.
are my right? These are my favorite ones.
Those are pretty.
Yeah, I like to use these or Kiss has like a pair I really like, but I feel like the girls found out about that pair.
Uh-huh.
And it's like, you can't get it anymore.
See, just hearing the way you, like, this is long, but it's not making the sound that
Right.
that's making. I like the density of that.
Yeah, these are a really good density.
I like that. That is super, super pretty.
Thank you.
Now, is there a certain type of microphone you have to use?
For a while, I was using this little lapel mic that I put on a kebab stick,
Uh-huh.
and that worked great. It worked great. The girls loved the kind of like lo-fi aspect of it. When I've been making them recently, I've been using a Audio-Technica 2034 or 2030.
Is that like
or
a
something.
big, like,
It's like similar to this.
uh-huh.
Yeah.
And do you put stuff on it or do you like,
Some people like Trisha, she always has like a fur on it and she like rubs it,
uh-huh.
you know, kind of like this.
Mm-hmm. Could you rub it like this?
I think you could kind of do it like where it gets tighter
Uh-huh.
as you go. I think that would be beneficial.
Could you hold it out like this and go like this?
You know, you might run into some issues with this.
Right.
You know, completion
Right.
too quickly.
Do you think that you have an equal amount of like male identifying and female identifying people who enjoy this? Are there people that want more from you? They message you and they want like, can you tell me a sexual story for?
Oh, everyone gets that.
Really? I would
wait.
imagine.
There was this guy from Sweden who was always commenting about how he wanted to buy me a raincoat.
Okay.
I don't know why I never took him up on that one. I should
Just a
have.
raincoat.
A raincoat, and it was like in kind of like broken like Swedish English,
Mhm.
so it would be like kind of hard to understand. But I got the idea that there was a raincoat wanting to be purchased for me.
I wonder if he like maybe wanted to hear the sounds of the coat.
Maybe
or
he
something?
did. I could see that for sure. That kind of
Mhm.
crinkly sound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was an aphorism for like,
An aphorism. What does that mean?
you know, like maybe like, I'd like to spend some time with you, but I'll be sure to wrap up with a raincoat.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
like like a
so his
pearl
cum
necklace.
doesn't shoot up in your asshole.
Oh, okay, because we can't have that.
Right.
Never that.
I mean, maybe. No?
You know, as models, that's
Right.
that's where we get a little.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. How do you come up with all of your characters?
Well, the ASMR was a big part of it because I was doing the ASMRs every week. So I had to think on my feet of like, what are some new characters? And I was pulling from like these kind of classic media tropes. Like there's this kind of media trope of like Italian tri-state area hairdresser.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, what do you want to do today? And like kind of like no bullshit attitude, like my fucking husband's cheating on me. So like that's how I got my character Donna. Just kind of thinking about that. Or like pulling from like people in my own life. Or like I did musical theater growing up, so pulling from characters I played and stuff like that.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Do you find yourself people watching as well, though?
Oh, I love people watching.
The best.
I love to like make up a story about somebody.
Oh,
Like,
every time.
she's on her way to go see the father of her child who she doesn't speak to anymore. Like, I love that.
Right. Right. I
Yeah.
love that. You know what I always want to do is because I love talking to anybody. I want to hear anything. I want to hear what your favorite food is.
Yeah.
I want to hear what pissed you off. I love it. And I think that's because I'm an only child. I
Right.
just grew up talking to the fucking wall. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But I always want to walk up to people and like at a park bench and just engage in a conversation as if they think like that I know them.
Mhm.
Right. And so I saw a meme one time that said this, and I thought, I'm going to do it. I want to walk up to someone and sit down and go, did you bring the money? And not look at them, nothing.
I would be scared. if
See,
it
I
was
could
me.
see you doing that though.
I would do it.
You would do it.
I liked one of my favorite things to do when I'm like at a nightclub and nobody's having a good time is to go up to somebody and go, oh, hey, bitch. Oh, hey, girl, what's up? Oh, my God.
Yes.
And they're like, who the fuck are you? You know what I mean? I
Yes.
love doing that. Freaks people out.
Well, especially at a club because we are all, for the most part, separated by just a couple of people, right? What was that thing, the
Right.
6 degrees or 7 degrees
Yeah.
of Kevin Bacon?
Right. 3
You ever
degrees
heard-
of separation.
Yeah, but there's a game. It's called like 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon.
Really?
And
I
they
haven't
say
heard of
that you
this.
can connect yourself to Kevin Bacon through only 6 people. It's a real thing. It's a real
my
game people
God.
play. And so they connect celebrities all the
Okay.
time. So they'll say, I don't know, Jojo Siwa.
Right.
And they'll say Kevin Bacon. And you have to figure, it's like a drinking game kind
Yeah.
of. You figure out what movies other people were in to
Okay.
get to him.
Okay, wait, I live.
Right. But in queer culture, if you're in the club, somebody knows everybody in there or in some way knows you.
And with these gay boys,
Right.
they're all having sex with each other.
Right.
They're all whores. I'm telling you. The incestuality,
Right.
especially in Los Angeles,
Right.
of like everyone is just getting with everyone.
Right.
Everyone.
Well, speaking of that, on May 15th, 2025, you tweeted, need to get dicked down, pussy ate by a guy that drinks raw eggs, takes creatine, and has never been with another man. Did that ever happen?
I think at the time I was Snapchatting with a guy
Uh-huh.
who fit that profile. I do like to be the first man another man has been with.
Mhm.
I find the way that a man who's just beginning to explore his queerness engages with me sexually is
Mhm.
quite
This is very fair.
quite delicious.
Yeah, this is the right. We're on the right path here. I like this kind of conversation.
Yeah.
A lot of people are afraid of this conversation.
I'm not afraid.
See, and that's what I love about you.
Yeah.
Because it's like uncharted territory, right?
Right.
And so you are forever going to give them the bar.
Yes. And you're forever going to be that person to them. The
That
first
one.
person they were with
Right.
that wasn't a cisgender woman.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's something special too because they don't know all the ins and outs, right?
Right.
So if you're like around a gay person that's been around, they know like I need to prepare for this. I
Right.
need to be prepared for that. I need to know how to speak or how I'm going
Right.
to make this be a second date or third.
Mhm.
But when it's somebody new, it's so like, I mean, without being like piggish
Yeah.
or maybe being piggish, it's so virginal.
It is.
Mhm.
It's like that excitement, that
Yes.
kind of like, oh my God, I've never done this.
Now, for purposes of like just for character
Right.
development and also research and development, do you ever dress up like a character?
For the trade.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's more of a character when I'm like wearing the boxers and the tank top. trying to
Okay.
be like masked
Right, right.
than it's the character when I have the nails and the lip gloss.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Because there's that sort of binary and there's that expectation.
Mhm.
You know, even if you watch I remember, I don't know what season it was, but it was a drag race season where they were like, pretend to be trade for us, pretend to be trade.
Right.
And that to me is more awkward than them saying, pretend to be an old lady.
Right.
Well, be an old lady. I mean, I am, you know, or try to be, like you said, a hairdresser or something.
Yeah.
That's not a stretch.
It's not.
But if you're telling me try to be the most masculine person in the room, it's almost kind of like, it's almost triggering in a way because you're like,
is.
you're scaring me. Like, this is scary to have to do. This is uncharted.
Yeah. It's reminding you that you will never fit into society in that way.
Right.
You will never have those privileges.
And
Because
it's
we're all
fucked up.
pointing and laughing that you can't be trade.
Right.
When it's like, well, the whole reason I'm doing all this is because I never could be.
Right. And it's interesting because a lot of people, I think, believe that all drag is inspired by only the glamorous,
Right.
only the most overdone,
Right.
only the most feminine things. And what they don't realize is, like, especially since you do characters, you draw from so many different places where it's every kind of woman.
Mhm.
It doesn't mean red lipstick. It
Right.
could be women who wear no lipstick.
Yeah.
Right?
And it's that flourish, that way you pick up the carton of milk. That's so much more glamorous than a fur and diamonds. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? That little feminine flourish.
Right.
That's the glamour. That's
Right.
drag.
I love looking at your hands.
Thank you. I do love a handography.
I'm such a hand person too, and I
Yeah.
just watching someone else, it's really pretty. I remember for a long time people were like, "Oh, you have the longest and most decorated nails is really glamorous." And I thought, while that is pretty, and I do love it, and it's very showgirl, I actually don't always think that's the most glamorous
Mhm.
because for some people it doesn't fit their hand, so it looks like
Right.
they're going like this, and I'm
Yeah.
like, "Babe, get a nail that fits you and feels good on
Right.
you."
And sometimes when they're too straight, they almost are pointing up.
And
And then you kind of have this kind of like, I don't know how to describe it, kind of like, it doesn't work. I
Right.
like a curve.
it needs to fit your hand.
Yeah, it does. It needs to feel like an extension of your hand rather than something you put on
Right.
your hand. Yeah.
That is so true. That is so true.
Yeah.
And so you've always just been interested in doing characters and
Always. Like, always been a performer, fresh out the womb. You know what I mean? Singing, dancing. Well, like, the beginning of everything for me was The Simple Life with Paris and Nicole. That was that's one of my
best.
first times I was like, okay, glamour, comedy, sophistication, trashiness, the universe. Like, that's God. Do you know what I
Right.
mean? Like, Paris and Nicole, like, that's the Big Bang.
right.
That's the moment the universe happened for me.
That's such a good reference point. Paris and Nicole. I love, one of my favorite Paris quotes is someone asking her in an interview about drinking Diet Coke. And she was like, well, fat people drink Diet Coke. And I'm like, she's right. I mean,
She's right.
okay. It's not rude. It's the
Yeah.
truth. And
Yeah.
she's such a brilliant person. I love that only recently sort of the internet caught on to the fact that she's like, that's a character. Like,
She's
that
in drag.
I do a lot of things. I'm a businesswoman.
Yeah.
She has so many facets. Same with Nicole Richie.
Yeah.
I mean, tons of facets.
Oh my God. I think this is fake, but there's like this meme where it's like, Nicole Richie bans fat people from cookout. She says guests will be weighed at barbecue before entry.
They say they do that at some other countries.
Really?
Like other Asian.
Okay, wait. Las Vegas. I grew up there.
Uh-huh.
Are you familiar with Heart Attack Grill?
I see clips of it on the internet all the
It's-
time.
So gaggy. There's it's like, I think it's like over 350 pounds eats free or
Uh-huh.
something. They have women, if you're unfamiliar, dressed in like nurse latex outfits. They spank you.
Uh-huh.
There's like this huge burger. If you can finish the whole burger, it's free or something.
Yeah.
There's a scale outside. It's a mess.
Well,
Stick of butter in the milkshake.
I got to tell you, this is going to sound crazy. I watch those clips and it almost makes me feel better about myself just because someone will get on the scale and I'm like, what? She weighs more than I do. And in my mind, I feel larger than her. But then I think to myself, well, that's a genetic woman and she has really big boobs.
Huge
and
boobs.
I bet that has a lot of weight in them.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying?
I do. We're also models.
Right.
And as models, we carry the weight of the world. It's the most important thing
Right.
we could do is be a model.
Right.
So in that way,
we have a different outlook on these things.
Yeah.
As models.
No, as models, that's very,
Yeah.
very true. That's very, very
Yeah.
true. Let's take a break. You are ridiculous. I
Are
love
we doing
you.
good?
You're
Okay,
the
good.
best.
Okay, good.
Seeking healthcare isn't always just about physical health. It also impacts how people show up at work, in relationships, and with themselves. And that's why so many people are choosing Ro. Ro makes it simple to get started on a weight loss journey with their free insurance checker or cash pay options, helping those who qualify for medication gain confidence and start feeling like themselves again. Ro wants to help people lose weight. That's why they have the lowest cost options out there, whether you're paying with insurance or cash. Their free insurance checker sends you a comprehensive report of your coverage details so you can make a decision that's right for your goals. And even if you don't have insurance coverage, Ro offers cash pay options for more affordable FDA-approved GLP-1s. These cash pay options ship right to your door with no pharmacy visits required. Ro can help you understand whether GLP-1s are right for you and your goals, but that's just the beginning. When you become a Ro member, you'll have ongoing support, including access to a provider on demand for questions. Join the over 1 million people who've trusted Ro to check their coverage for free. Go to ro.co/delta for your free insurance check. That's ro.co/delta to see if your insurance covers GLP-1s for free. Go to ro.co/safety for boxed warnings and full safety information about GLP-1 medications. We are back with Olive Ugly. So here we always fry the small fish. We always talk about some little thing. It's little to other people, but it's big to us.
It is.
Problems that may be going on or observations that you've had recently that need to be brought up.
I'm so glad you asked. Security guards at nightclubs.
Okay.
I feel like they have a personal vendetta against me personally to ruin my day.
Okay.
Because I do a lot of hosting gigs. So I'm often at the club until like closing. And sometimes it's like I try to exit this way and I'm not allowed to exit that way, or I'm going to sit here, wait for my ride. I'm not allowed to be in this room or something. And I just feel like anything you have to say, you can say it nicely.
Yes.
But I feel often security at nightclubs, they're like, can't go this way. Turn around. Nope. Okay, take a breath. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Take a moment. What happened to manners? What happened to etiquette? This way is closed. Let me direct you where to go. You cannot sit here at this time. You know, how about some of that? One time I was at a music festival. First and last time I'm ever going to a music festival. Worst experience of my life. I tried to walk into an area that I wasn't allowed to go in. The security guard went like this to try to stop me from walking in there. What is going on? Why am I like, do I have a gun? I don't know what's going on. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I just can't. Security guards, I can't.
Well, especially at a place where you may be working.
Yeah.
That seems really, really weird. I mean, I feel like when you're working somewhere, everyone should be aware that they're all on the same team.
Yeah.
We're trying to keep the business open so we all have a job
Oiling
the
the
next
machine.
time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so I have experienced that. And a lot of times it's heterosexual men who, I don't know if they think that by being friendly to you, that means like, I'm going to let you suck my dick. I don't know what it is, but it's like, calm down. I don't want you.
I don't want you.
Calm down.
You look crazy.
Right.
Like, what is it? Okay. What is it about being blonde that says I'm open for business?
Right.
Like, whenever I wear a blonde wig or I had bleached blonde hair for a while, everyone is like, they can't keep their hands off me, or they think I want to get my hands on them.
Right.
Like, what is this like? I don't think drag queens are walking around wanting to suck everyone's dick.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
And they think that I think a lot of straight guys think, well, because I'm straight and I'm in your environment, you automatically want me more than you want someone else.
Yeah.
Because you know, we talked about sort of the fantasy of like someone's first or whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't want to be everyone's first.
Right.
Okay, so calm down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Everybody's thirsty. You know, people may be hungry, but not everybody's fucking that thirsty.
Right.
You know?
Absolutely. And it's funny you say that because I often find that men are attracted to the most feminine, like straight men
Mhm.
are usually just attracted to the most feminine person in the room. So it's like, I don't want you because you're straight, but I think you kind of want me because
Right.
I'm the most glamorous. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
No, that's 1,000% true.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's 1,000% true. But I have to stop right in the middle of this conversation and tell you that I want so bad to steal the style of your wig because I'm right now I'm loving like a full bang that pops out. And I've always loved getting hair and like gathering it in the
Yeah.
back. And it is so pretty, especially with the
Thank
root
you.
in it. And you did this yourself.
I did the root.
Oh, you added the root.
I added the root with the root touch-up spray.
Okay.
This was a one of those like blowout wigs.
Uh-huh.
And I've worn it so many times that it was kind of too destroyed to like wear it as like unstyled.
Like the way it was.
Yeah. So I just teased it up, and then I'm doing a performance tomorrow, and I was like, I want it off my face. So I did this is my go-to like performance style, this kind of like
I love it.
Amy Winehouse inspired sort of back bun. And then I just kind of gathered some hair in the front, little eyebrow razor.
Uh-huh.
Boom, boom. Root.
It's really smart because it's structured, but there's movement to it.
Yeah.
And I love it. I think it's really, I love doing that. I always say that, like, if I have a wig that, again, you're like, it's on its last leg in that style, but it can go to another style. That's the go-to because then now it's a fully glamorous piece that you didn't have to reset.
Right.
But you did have to, like, you had to reshatter the bang and all that.
Stylized.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love
Thank
it.
you.
Let me ask you this. Do you ever play Fuck, Marry, Kill?
Oh, all the time.
Okay. Fuck, Marry, Kill. Charlotte Roos.
Okay.
Wet Seal. Ross.
Okay, I'm going to marry Ross.
Okay.
You love it. I love it. I got it at Ross.
I love it.
I'm obsessed with Ross. I like to go and like sometimes not even buy anything.
Oh, sometimes nothing.
Just look through and be like, oh, girl, what do they have today?
Mhm.
Girl, these fragrances, oh, Britney Spears Fantasy Intense. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
once again, I love Ross. I feel like Ross is one of those places where you can be anyone you want. You can live any fantasy you want to live.
And you can find the characters there.
You can't.
They're everywhere.
I found at Ross the other day. I didn't buy it. It was a dress with a blazer with a necklace all sewn together as one garment.
No.
Yes. So you just throw that on.
Yeah.
Yeah. One-stop shop. I'm going to marry Ross for sure. I'm going to fuck Wet Seal.
Okay.
Because I feel like Wet Seal has the tea. Or like I remember growing up, Wet Seal having the tea. Like that being the like I associate Wet Seal with like Kesha.
I could see that.
You know what I mean? Like trashy girl, like party, like got a water bottle full of whiskey in my handbag. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I'm gonna kill Charlotte Roos because
Nothing special.
nothing special.
I'm with you. Nothing. No point of view.
Yeah, it's like the place in the mall you stop in and you're like, I'm done. I'm going home.
Because you know what? It's funny you say that. Because you look at it and you go, oh, that's pretty. That's fine. That's totally fine. So
Right.
It's not bothering me. It's not exciting me. If you needed like a prom dress, go for it.
Yeah.
But like you said, Wet Seal, it's a girl with an attitude.
Yeah.
Something's
It's a
happening.
perspective.
Yeah.
Like it or hate it.
Right.
It's a perspective.
Ross, you could actually buy something to wear, a gift. You could actually go down an aisle and buy dinner if you really wanted to. I mean, there's pasta and pasta sauce.
There is. I didn't even think about that.
Right?
You can buy the pot to cook it in.
The pot to cook it in.
Literally.
And then if you got pregnant that night, there's baby clothes.
There's baby clothes. You want to get a workout in. We got yoga mats, weights, protein powder.
Well, and my problem is like, if I get in line and they don't have the self-checkout, I'm the person that's going to end up with 2 or 3 things from those bins. So I'm like, I definitely need a package of Lindor, the
Absolutely.
round little ball candy. I have
Those
to have one.
are elite. I like the strawberry white chocolate ones.
They're so good.
So good. Or like the birthday cake ones. Oh my God. Those, because like that's when somebody said, I don't want this. And they put it back sometimes.
Yeah.
And that's when you say,
But I do.
I actually kind of want that.
Right. Like you mentioned a yoga mat. I'll see that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, today's the day I'm going to start yoga.
Right.
Today's the day. It's telling me right now, you need an aquamarine colored yoga mat.
Absolutely.
Because there's a water bottle that matches it.
Yeah.
You might as well have, if you have both,
You might as well.
you'll start working out.
Yeah. Also, I don't save money going to Ross. I'm spending more money going to Ross.
Of course you are.
Of course I am. You know what I'm also going to tell you is ever since you said pick up one item you're going to return,
shopping process by going in the return lane. I have not seen one Ross with a return lane.
Right. They stopped.
They stopped the return lane.
They caught into us.
They did. They fully did. The Ross I used to go to in Hollywood, the one on, I think it's on Sunset. I just started driving. It's a whole thing. Whenever you're on the road and you're like, oh girl, what is she doing? That's me.
Is it?
It is, because I'm just starting. I started driving 2 months ago.
Okay.
It's the whole thing. But the Ross there, that was the type of Ross where the security guards, they like pat you down and like jerk you off and like look inside your mouth.
Oh, the whole thing.
Yeah. The whole ordeal. Fully that.
They do that now. Have you ever been to a Burlington coat factory?
I have.
So the ones out like, because I live out in the suburbs, you know, so I live further out. But what is that? Oh, that's part of that. I thought that it was ripped and then it's part of this. But out in the suburbs, they have a queue. So when you get to the store and you walk in, they're like, hello, welcome to Burlington Coat Factory. You'll just wait here in the queue. And you have to wait for people to leave the store. And then they're like, we'll take 2 guests. Like you're at the club.
No, like a line outside Burlington.
Yes.
They used to do that at the Ross I used to go to, but I thought it was so that they could see your face clearly on the
Well, maybe
camera.
that's too. They said, how many are in your party?
Yeah.
In my party? To come to Ross?
Right this way.
Right.
Yeah. Party of 3.
Isn't that weird?
That is weird. Like it's Louis Vuitton.
Right.
Girl, bye.
You have to make an appointment to go in and go
bye.
shopping. What about, we were talking about fragrance because you are wearing what I think is a classic, especially for a very ultra feminine doll.
Pink Sugar.
So
the
good.
Toilette by Aquilina. The best. Do you mind if I do a
please
spray?
do so. It smells so good.
It's so yummy.
It's like
It's
vanilla
delicious.
and marshmallow.
Marshmallowy. There's like a caramely kind of like toasted, but there's like a maraschino cherry, a cotton candy.
Yep.
Love it. Can't get enough.
Yeah, it's nostalgic. It's a nostalgic
Very much
fragrance.
so.
What about a celebrity fragrance?
Oh,
Do you
I
have
love
favorites?
a celebrity fragrance. My favorite celebrity fragrance is Baby by Harajuku Lovers, Gwen Stefani. The Bubble Pop Electric Edition. It's like in a chrome bottle.
Okay.
And I love Candied Fantasy by Britney Spears.
So good.
And I love Diamonds and Rubies by Elizabeth Taylor.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so of all of the Elizabeth Taylor ones, I think that's one of my favorites.
That's my favorite.
Yeah.
I like the dry down. I like how it's like kind of powdery.
Yep.
I love powder. I love a powdery fragrance.
See, you don't really get to hear that much because most people want something that's like just like gourmand, so just like fruity or something. And I think powdery is so nice.
Yeah. I do love a gourmand, but I don't like when they're like incredibly photorealistic.
Right.
Like I smelled the lemon Sabrina Carpenter one and it smelled like eggs and butter and flour.
Oh no.
And I just don't want to smell like I just came from the bake shop.
Right.
I want to smell like the suggestion of a bake shop.
Right.
Yeah.
And do you ever find yourself, especially at like a store like Ross or Burlington, something, you have enough fragrance, but you're like, but it's so cheap.
Yeah.
I might as well get another one. Or even if it's something like Pink Sugar, if you find more of it, sometimes you'll find a price where you're like, I need to get this now because I'm going to run out of my other one eventually. Yeah. And at this price, I might as well just grab it.
I had that with Yara by Lattafa. I found like these little like half sizes for like, it was like $6.99 or something. And I was like, let me just stock up, honey.
I love that.
I do love the fragrance department at Ross.
Yeah.
But I don't like that you can't sample. I know it's not boutique service.
I know, but you should be able to like smell something.
Yeah.
You used to be able to return the fragrances. Now you can't.
Really? Because I bought a fragrance I hated, but I felt like I couldn't return it, so I didn't.
Yeah. Yeah. I try to pass them off to someone else, or I'll just keep them like in the back of the shelf. But I always feel like I have a time and place for every kind of fragrance, but that's not really true. Because there are some where you're like, this is not me in any phase.
What is that for you? Do you have a profile you don't gravitate towards?
Normally not anything that's described, at least when I'm in drag, one that's described as like fresh marine. Okay. I don't usually like anything that's like too ocean.
Okay.
For me, I like something a little bit heavier, something spicy. Now, when I'm out of drag, though, the interesting thing is I do love that.
Yeah.
So I do love, when I'm out of drag, I love anything that's like lavender based. And I love like pine. I love that kind of thing. But I'm also old. And so I grew up with Calvin Klein fragrances. So a lot of people will smell like an eternity and they'll say, oh my gosh, that reminds me of the 90s. And I'm like, yeah, that was like kind of the heyday
Right.
for me.
Yeah.
So it does smell like that. I'll tell you what, Escape for women. I don't like Escape for
Okay.
women for myself.
I've never tried.
I don't like
Calvin
it for
Klein?
myself. Uh-huh.
Okay, I'm gonna have to tap in to see what that experience just
It
is.
smells beautiful for someone else, not for me.
Okay, that's fair.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair. I totally see that.
Or something that's super, super flowery without a strong
Yeah.
base. So it needs a powder base. It needs vanilla. It needs sandalwood. It needs something so the dry down.
I agree. I completely agree. Do you know what I'm tapping into? I'm really getting into aldehydes.
Yes.
I'm really trying to explore the world of aldehydes.
Love.
I do love an aldehyde. There's a stinky quality to aldehydes,
Mhm.
like a funk,
Right.
which I find polarizing.
If you had your own fragrance,
Ooh.
what would it be? What are some notes? It's not fully
Right.
thought out yet, but
Well, I do love rose.
Mhm.
I really love rose. I definitely would have like a musky base, like a musky sandalwood base.
I like that.
But I would want there to be like definitely amber, like a suggestion of like an amber gourmand.
Mhm. I
So,
think
like,
we're on the same page.
Maybe in the top notes like a cotton candy, and then like in the middle notes maybe like a pink rose, like a more like girly rose than a more not so much a rich deep rose, like a frilly rose, and maybe like a I love pear.
Oh, pear is beautiful.
Yeah, pear is the tea.
There was a minute where the designer, her name's Isabel Toledo, she had a line of fragrances that they only sold at Lane Bryant.
Okay.
And they were about, maybe $60 or $70, but they were the best. There was like 4 of them, and they all had the exact same bottle, and it was beautiful. And it was like, there was a pink pepper, there was like a honey something. They were the most beautiful, and you can't really they don't have them anymore. So if you look for them, you can get them like on eBay or something. But once something disappears,
it's gone.
It's gone. And then it's $1 million.
And then it smells different.
Do
you know zoologist perfumes?
No.
They're like, each one is inspired by an animal.
Okay.
And like the habitat of the animal. And they have a civet one.
Okay.
Inspired by the civet cat.
Yep.
But it's also like inspired by like the habitat. So it's like this kind of tropical fragrance, but it's also inspired by perfumes that used to use the anal gland secretion of the civet cat. So it's like an animalic, ambery, sort of slightly tropical, like Coca-Cola.
Right.
Kind of reminiscent of Youth Dew.
Right.
Profile.
Which is so that.
I found a vintage bottle of Youth Dew.
Did you?
At a vintage store. I had to get it.
Yeah, that's so cute. You have to have that.
Yeah.
You have to have that.
It's an essential. It's like pink sugar. It's like one of the greats.
Yeah, it's so interesting because so many of the Lauder fragrances are so strong. I'm like Cinnabar. There's what's the one? Azure. Like they are so strong. It's insane. I feel like you can kind of tell when you look at the fragrance and you're like, this is so dark. It's like dark brown.
Yeah.
That kind of is a giveaway.
Yeah, if you're scared to spray it on clothes, you need 2 sprays.
Right. What would your fragrance be named?
If Calvin Klein didn't already do Obsession, I'm obsessed with that word.
It's a good name.
It would probably be called like Spread It.
Spread It. Just
Spread
a phrase.
It. Yeah.
Would there be like an exclamation point?
It'd be a ... Spread it.
Like to be continued.
Yeah.
There's more coming.
And then the next one would be like all the way open. You know what I mean? Or like open them legs or something. You know what I mean? Open them legs by Olive Ugly.
Well, that makes sense because like remember back in the day, somebody would have a fragrance and then it would be like that fragrance, but blue.
Right.
Right.
Black
or
opium
night.
over red. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, totally.
I do love that. I love that kind of like, or like when movies have like a title, you know what I mean? And it'll be like, I don't know, like something too better the second time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. That was a really very 80s and 90s thing to do.
Yeah.
I love that.
Do you know Giallo films? The like Italian thriller movies?
Okay.
Love that kind of stuff. I'm like working on something that's inspired by that.
Really? Mm-hmm. That could be, that could coincide with a fragrance.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it could be the marketing could look entirely like that.
Absolutely.
That's pretty.
What happened to fragrance bottles with the little squeezy?
Oh, that's so pretty.
I love that.
That is pretty.
We need to bring that back. I think Amanda Lepore's fragrance has that on
and
it.
There's a Dita Von Teese one that's the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are pretty. I love that. Let's take a break. We are back with Olive Ugly. Now, this is the part of the show that we call Read Me Delta. People send in their letters,
Yeah.
they have questions, they have concerns. And if you have a letter that you want to send it to readmedelta@gmail.com. We will absolutely address any of your concerns. Do you have a letter opener?
I do. Let me see where I put.
Oh, in the hairdo.
This is a fabulous little flower made in Korea.
Oh,
Isn't that gorgeous?
Isn't this the most gorgeous letter opener you've ever seen?
Dear Delta and hot girl on the couch. I'm a middle-aged man with a penis who's recently started dating someone new, and one of their behaviors has rubbed off on me. What's the behavior, you ask? It's sitting down while peeing. I've fallen in love with it. No misfire on the floor, no mess, just my urine going straight into the toilet. So I wanted to ask you and your guest, do you sit down when you pee like me? Signed forever, you're gay, Dwight from Big Sky, Montana.
Well, Dwight, how vulnerable, first of all.
Yeah.
Let's just applaud that vulnerability.
Yeah, I think that's important.
I love to take a piss sitting down.
Do you?
I do, and I've always, since I was a kid, I remember my brother, like, telling on me to my mom, like, he sits down when he pees. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because it's supposed to be like a no-no.
What happens if you want to take a dump while you take a piss?
Right.
You're going to stand up, pee, and then do a shimmy? No.
Right.
I love a sit-down pee. I'm all for it.
Pee. Will you choose to do that like as the default? Like
Not if I'm out and about.
Right.
Because you can't eat at everyone's house.
Right.
You can't sit on every toilet. And then
Right.
there's the whole, seat cover situation. If I'm out and about, I'll stand.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's sometimes it's splatter, and then I don't want to leave that for the next person. So then I have to.
Right.
And then that's.
And not everyone wants to go number 2 in public, but
Right.
sometimes you have to.
Sometimes it's not.
Sometimes you have no
Yeah.
choice.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's just like it is what it is.
Yeah.
So there are places like I map out in my brain where I am and what's going to be. And here's maybe I've shared this before, but I think it's worth sharing again. A doctor's office.
Okay.
If you're driving somewhere and you see like what looks like a larger doctor's office, the lobby is generally going to have a bathroom
Okay.
before you get into the office. So you could walk in, go in, or any kind of hotel that has a guest check-in. If
Yeah.
they've got a guest check-in, they've got a bathroom.
Hotel is the most elite option.
Yes, because it's going to be
Yeah.
clean.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Get
For
yourself
sure.
like a Courtyard Marriott, something like
Yeah.
that. That's something that's not too crazy.
Yeah, one of the like Hilton Continental or whatever it is.
Exactly.
Like, yeah, for sure.
I like to stand to go pee. Like that's my default no matter where I am.
Yeah.
But I will say there's been times where I've like waited till the last minute and I have to go number 1 and number 2.
Right.
You might as well kill two
Combo.
birds with one stone.
Might as well.
You might as well.
I like standing to pee and drag at the urinal.
Okay.
That's a big like middle finger. You
Yeah.
know, just hiking up my dress, pissing on these hoes and dragging
Yeah.
heels on. Love that.
Now, have you ever gotten it on your tights?
I'm not a tight girl.
Okay.
I don't
that's
like.
nice.
yeah.
I like that.
I remember Patricia Field, going back to her,
Uh-huh.
when she did Sex and the City. She was like, 'cause that's right. I'm not confusing.
Yeah.
things? Yeah. She was like, no tights, bare legs. I'm of that philosophy. I also
love
don't
it.
really do body. I want to start doing that, but I'm like, it's a whole beast.
Mhm.
I've never gotten on my tights. Honestly, though, this might be TMI.
No, it's not.
You ever sit down to pee? Think you're done. Stand up
And there's a little bit more.
a little bit more.
Oh, there's always a little bit more.
But sometimes there's a little bit more.
Oh, it's like, well, sometimes if you really have to go, it triggers something and that hollow leg starts to, there's a whole other stream.
It's true. Something about the sitting and then the standing, it like unlocks a new area of the bladder
Mm-hmm.
and it just happens. And then you're walking around with a wet puss.
Ooh,
You know what I
like
mean?
a swamp.
Yeah, swamp puss.
That's not good.
I was thinking about that in the shower today. You know, like your body is a wonderland.
Uh-huh.
Like, what is my body?
Well, wasteland.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. Or a water park.
A water park.
Yeah. Or a swamp.
Or, or it could just be a pond.
Right.
A mossy bank.
A mossy. Ooh, that's a good drag name.
Yeah.
Mossy bank.
I like
honey.
it. See, these letters are opening better. Sometimes they don't want to open right.
I like the pink.
I do too.
It's very like
Isn't
1950s.
that nice? Hello, Delta Work and unique guest. During one of my vodka-infused thought sessions, I suddenly realized that the only time I hang out with my local friends from middle school or high school is when I reach out first. Now, this usually isn't a problem, but I realize these people don't ever text me first with, "Hey, how are you?" or even just a random meme to start a conversation. I understand there's nuances. For example, some of them don't drive, but I've made it perfectly clear in the past that it's not an issue for me, even if I take them out to dinner. My question is this: is it very Delta to reach out first to these kind of people for the sake of having human connection, or should I just rough it out and enjoy my own company? Is it worth it to cultivate dry friendships here, or am I better off waiting for new groups of people to pursue? I'm 20 years old, so I also haven't tapped into the gay bar scene. So is that something that you think I should hold hope for in terms of making friendships? Yours truly, SoCal movie star. P.S. You're giving Delta Work vibes today. Love you. Well, what do you think about that, about when you're the only person reaching out?
I think you need to make room for new connections to come in. Because if you're the only person ever reaching out, that tells me that the other person doesn't value spending time with you. They don't enjoy spending time with you enough to reach out, and you deserve to be around people that want to be around you.
Right.
Like, why would you not want to be in a friendship where somebody says, "Oh my God, girl, let's go get coffees and see a movie." You know what I mean? That spontaneity, that's what friendship's about. So
Right.
I don't entertain these. I would never.
Right.
Yeah. No.
I think that makes sense. I think that's fair, especially if you already know these people and you've given them the and this person says they've given them the
Yeah.
opportunity to say, if it's a money issue, like, I don't mind picking up the check, or if you need a ride,
Yeah.
like, you know, I think trying to meet people where they are in those things. I will say I do have friends that I know, especially in like the type of work that we do, that are just drastically busy, and they know that I'm busy. But this person made a really good point when they said they don't even send a meme.
Right.
They don't even say, "How you doing?" Like
Yeah.
that. We have time for that. We have time
Absolutely.
for that. We have time for little check-ins. And then of course there's people in your life that maybe you don't see very often because you it's not that you're not connected, it's that you kind of know that the two of you are always there.
Right.
Right?
It's always going to be there. You pick up where you left off.
You picked where you left off. That makes a lot of sense. So, you know, I think you mentioned that you're only 20 years old and you haven't gone into the gay bars yet. So that's kind of a thing. Your 20s are really this sort of design phase of your life where you get to try out everything. And so, as you said, you know, you deserve to make those connections. Follow your heart. Take your head with you, but follow your heart in this. So when you go to make these connections with people, whether it's at the bar or it's on the internet or it's in a crocheting class, whatever it is, wherever you decide to follow your interests, realize that you've got so much time to try out different places, different jobs, different people. Try out every little bit of it. See what makes you tick, what makes you feel good, what makes you feel rewarded and interested, while still holding the space for people who maybe are on a professional journey that just has them busting their ass. And maybe they're like, I really don't have free time for like 6 months. You know, maybe that could be that. If you, maybe you know somebody who's an intern as a doctor.
Yeah.
You know, they just don't have time. It's not that they hate you.
Yeah.
Not that you're saying they hate you.
But they could send that meme.
But they could send that
Because I know you're
meme.
on that phone.
Because you're on that phone.
We're all on that phone. So if you're not seeing that meme and you're not thinking of me.
You're right.
And you're not saying, girl, look at this. I'm not even in your sending out rotation. Because we all have our people that we like tap the meme. We just tap, boom, boom, boom.
You're absolutely
You're not
right.
even in that for me. That tells me something about where I stand with you. And you're 20 years old. The world, you know what I mean, is open for you. Like, just, and it's not even that sad because you're going to find people you connect with more.
Right.
You know what I mean? This shoe didn't fit. You're going to put on a new pair of shoes.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Olive Ugly, thank you for being here.
Thank
this
you
was
so much
fun.
for having me. This was a dream come true.
This was a blast. You're
I had the best
so
time.
easy to talk to.
So are you.
And you make so much sense. All of it makes sense. It really,
We're from
really
the same
does.
place, the world.
We really are. I mean, I think that we see things. We're in a very interesting place. And you know, we only know each other as far as this goes, and then we know each other on social media. But there's a very interesting place for those of us who are entertainers who do drag, but acknowledge this obvious feminine energy,
Mhm.
but we're not trying to step on anyone's toes and say, this is my label. I know exactly your life you're living. We can only tell people
Right.
how we live and what we understand. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And we enjoy the characters that we bring to life
Yeah.
or the people that we are, or again, like you mentioned, the connection with your mom
Mhm.
and that inspiration. I think it's beautiful. And I think a lot of people don't have that conversation, not just because they don't have a place to have that conversation, but I don't think they understand themselves the way you understand yourself. And I love that.
I appreciate that so much.
Thank you for sharing it with me.
Thank you for having me to share it
love
with you.
We'll see you next week. And until then, keep things very Delta. Very Delta is produced by Moguls of Media, aka Mom. Hosted by Delta Work. Produced and edited by Doug Robertson. Technical direction by Danielle Mitchell. With original theme music by Will Pitts. Media and design support by Stone Cole. And set design by Eris Sevilla. Executive produced by Alaska, Willem, Big Dipper, Camille Stennis, and Joe Cilio. Recorded at Forever Dog Productions. Ow, bro.
Mom!
Watch Very Delta uncensored, ad-free, and a day early by subscribing to Mom Plus Gold. Sign up today at mompodcast.plus for premium content, including weekly episodes of More Very Delta.